Hi everyone, Sheryl here. So we're here today with part 2 of the Large Mini album. Before I get started, I need to go over two things. The first video, I did the measurements for all the base pages, belly bands, pockets, and all of that. I made two mistakes that I need to let you guys know about. First one is the flip pocket, the one that flips by itself. So that would be these here. In the first video I said you only needed to do 2. You actually need 4 of those because there's 2 for each set. So for the first set of pages there's 2, and then the second set of pages there's 2. So you need a total of 4 pages or 4 sheets that are going to measure 9 3/4 by 6 3/4, and then you're going to need 4 of these gussets, okay? Or hinges rather. And then also when it came to the belly band for the Waterfall, I had said that you needed to score at 1/2 inch on the 1.5 inch side. That was incorrect. It should have been scored 1/2 inch on the 6 inch side. So I do apologize for that. I hope you guys knew what I was talking about, but when I went back and watched the video, I realized that I had told you guys wrong on those two things. So I do apologize. Sorry about that. So now moving forward, what I did was I went ahead and I matted the first 3 pages, which are basically all of the designs that I did, the different pages, the pockets and things like that. So I did the first 3 because I wanted to give you guys a point of reference when I give you the measurements, so you'll know exactly which ones I'm talking about, so you'll be able to see it. I'm a visual learner and I know a lot of us are. So with that being said, let me go ahead and walk you through my first 3 pages really quickly, and then we'll get on with the measurements. So this here is the side flap. This is the top flap. Here's the base page. Okay. And then when you flip this over, here is the Waterfall. And then right up underneath it, the Waterfall is also a belly band as well. So you can slide something through to the other side. Okay. And we'll go over the magnets and stuff later. And then also the piece right here is open so that we can adhere it to the spine. Okay, this right here is that one pocket that flips up and down, or I shouldn't call it a pocket, but you can store stuff in there. It flips over, and here's a pocket, okay? And then when you flip this over, just another base page. Right here, we have 2 pages that flip, or 2 pockets that flip independently, and then a large pocket right here. And then when you flip it over, you have 2 pockets, one here, and then one here, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. You are going to need 6 pieces of paper for your base page, or 6 pattern pieces of paper for your base page. And you'll need 6 because you have one here, you have one here, and then another one here. So when you double that, it's going to be 6. So the measurements for that are 9 3/8 by 6 7/8, and you'll need 6. Then next you're going to need 4 pieces for your top flap, which is this one right here. So your top flap, the measurements for that are 8 3/8 by 5 7/8. So you need 4 of those. Then your side flap, which is this piece right here, you're going to need 4 for that as well. And those measurements are 6 5/8 by 5 3/8. Okay? All right. Next, we're going to flip over, and then it's going to be the Waterfall. Now, for your Waterfall, if you're doing 2 sets of these, you're going to need 48. Okay? And of those 48, the measurements are 4 7/8 by 3 3/8. Okay, now for the first set you're going to need 24. You know, so for 2 for each of these. So here's your 24 right here. You have an extra piece right here. Okay, so for this piece, sorry, I wrote this down wrong. For this piece, you're going to need 2 of these, and the measurement for this one is slightly different. So the measurement for that one, that's the one that's going to be 3 1/4 by 4 7/8. And also, I'm sorry, not this one. this one. This one is different. Now, what I did was I rounded my edges on 24 of them. So that was all of these. I did not round my edges at all for this last one. Just because I didn't round them to begin with, and I actually kind of like the straight edge at the bottom with all of these being rounded on the corner. Another thing also to keep in mind is that when you do cut your paper, when you round your edges, it's okay if it's a pattern like these are, but if you get any that have any writing like this one and it's on the top piece that flips up like this, you don't want to make the mistake of rounding your edges down here, because then you'll have wasted this paper, especially if you've already matted it to the top right here. So just be cognizant of you know, any writing or particular patterns that have writing on them, or something that you won't necessarily be able to flip it to make it work the way you need it to. So like a lot of these patterns with the flowers and just the shapes and the chevron and things like that, no matter which way you flip these, it will still work. If you accidentally punched it at the bottom, you could just flip it and then it would be okay this way. However, with these words, it would not work that way. So just be careful when you guys, if you decide to round your corners, and only round one side. Okay. Okay, waterfall. So we did that. Now, the band for the waterfall, that one you are going to need 8, because you're going to need 2 for each side. So you'll need 4 for the first waterfall, 4 for the second waterfall. So a total of 8, and the measurements for that are 5 3/8 by 1 3/8. Okay, now be careful when you adhere this down, especially if you decide to do the magnet. You need to make sure you know that you've kind of measured it out, and I'll do the second waterfall with you so you can see how I attach the belly band, so that way it holds on and it's not a problem, it does not come out. Okay, all right, so the next thing is the gusset for the waterfall. So for this piece right here, I didn't like just showing the crafts cardstock of my base paper here. So what I did was I cut some strips to cover that up. You don't have to, it's all according to whatever it is that you like, but I actually like to cover, and I actually like the contrast. Even though for this one it looks like it's just continuing, I still like the contrast between the other ones. Okay, so for that one you are going to need, sorry, that's wrong. You need 24 of those. Let me fix this really quick. Okay. So you need 24 of those. 12 for the first set, 12 for the second set. And then your measurements are 4 15/16 by 7/15. So the 15/16 is that tick mark that's right before 5 inches. And the 7/15 is the tick mark that's right before 1/2 inch. Okay, so that's the measurement for that. All right, so next up is, let's see, next up is the base page with the flap and the side pockets. So next up is this one right here. All right, so this piece right here is what I'm about to give you the measurements for. I did not mat it all the way down just because I didn't see a reason to, because no one should be looking that far in. You just needed to mat this piece right here to be able to see it. So you will need 2 of those. And then the measurement for that is 4 1/4 by 9 3/8. Okay. And then the next piece is this top piece for the large pocket here. So you're going to need 2 of those. And the measurements for that are 1 1/2 by 9 3/8. Okay. All right. So next we have we're going to do this side pocket here. You know what, guys? I think I told you something wrong. Hold on one second. Let me just check really quickly. Sorry about that. Yeah. Okay, disregard where I said the top piece of the large pocket is 1.5 by 9 3/8. That one is coming up, I'm sorry. This measurement right here is 9 3/8 by 2 7/8. Sorry about that, I told you guys wrong. So 9 3/8 by 2 7/8, and you need 2 of those. Okay, next we're going to do the measurements for this. So for this top flap right here, because this is the side pocket, your top flap is going to be 5 3/8 by 3 1/8. You're going to need 4 of those. Then for the full page, which is in the middle and to the back, that one is going to be 7 3/8 by 5 3/8. You'll need 4 of those. And then for the bottom piece, you'll need 4 of those as well. That one is 6 3/8 by 5 3/8. Okay, so top flap is here. This is the bottom flap right here. And then this is the full right here. So you'll need front and back for both sets that you do those. Okay, so a total of 4 for each of those. And then here are the measurements again, just in case. Okay, so now this is the full page, and we already did the measurements for this one. So now we have your flip pockets. So for the flip pockets, the measurements on those for the mats are 4.5 by 6 5/8. Okay, and you are going to need 2, 4, 8 of those. Yeah, you'll need 8 of those. So 4.5 by 6 5/8. Okay. Then for right here, for the large pocket, you are going to need 2 of these pieces. And that one is going to be 5 5/8 by 9 1/4. Okay. Then this is the piece. So the top piece right here, again, this one is the same way. I did not mat that one all the way down. Nobody should be looking down in there, but I thought it was just a waste of paper that you could be using for something else. That's the top piece for the large pocket. You're going to need 2 of these, and the measurements for that are 1.5 by 9 3/8. Okay. All right. So let's see. Now we're here at the double pockets. All right. So for the double pockets, the top and the middle are the same dimensions. So you'll need 2 of, actually 4, but I separated them just to make it easier and more understandable for everybody, including myself, because I get confused so easily. So the top is 2 5/8 by 6 7/8. You need 2 for the top. You need 2 pieces for the middle. That'll be 2 5/8 by 6 7/8. And then the bottom is 4 1/4 by 6 7/8. And you'll need 2 of those as well. Okay, and again, this is for the double pockets. Okay, now on for the tags. I haven't done the tags yet, but 1 second to pull them out. I did start cutting some of them, and then I stopped because I wanted to make sure that I got at least 1 video, if not 2 videos up for you guys, to be able to start working on them. So for the big tag, which is the one that measures 6 3/4 by 8 7/8. The measurements for the mat on that one, for the big tag, is 6.5 by 8 3/4. All I did was took 1/8 of an inch off both measurements. Okay. Then for the tag, this one measures 9 1/4 by 6 1/4. The measurement on that one is 6 1/8 by 9 1/8. Okay. Then for the long, large tag, the measurement on that for the tag itself is 6 1/4 by 9. I'm sorry. Excuse me. 6 3/4 by 9 1/8. The mat for that one is 6 5/8 by 9. Okay. And then For the double pocket tags, the measurements for the double pocket tags are 6 3/4 by 6 3/4, and then 6 3/4 by 9. The measurements for that are 6 5/8 by 6 5/8. You'll need 2 of those, and then 6 5/8 by 8 7/8. You'll need 2 of those. Now for the other tags, if you guys noticed, I did not tell you how many you needed. That's because I don't know how many you're gonna do. I know I told you what I was cutting out, but those you'll just cut enough for however many you decide to do. But for the double pocket tags, you could fit more in there, but at most it would be, or should I say at the very minimum, it would be 1 of each. So that's why I say you need 2 of both of the sizes, okay? And then for the flip pocket tags, you'll need 4. So for the measurements on those, it's 6 1/4 by 4 3/8 for the actual tag itself. The mat for that one is 4 1/4 by 6 1/8. Okay, and you'll need 4 of those. All right, so I am at 16 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and stop it now, because that way you'll have the measurements for the base pages, one video, the measurements for the mats, another video, and then we can start adhering and putting stuff together, and that way that will be a separate video. That way I won't make this one too long. I just want to kind of break it up in case there's certain things that you guys are doing at certain times. All right, so I will see you guys soon. Thanks.